The Lions are preparing for something big behind the scenes, and today we've got three major stories that could seriously affect this roster heading into the season. One of them involves a massive veteran name that Detroit is suddenly being linked to. Another is about an under-the-radar player who might shock a lot of people at training camp. And the last one could put a fan-favorite defender in real danger of losing his role. And honestly, when you connect all three stories together, you start to see what Brad Holmes and this coaching staff are really trying to build for this revenge season. Because after everything that happened last year, this front office clearly knows this roster still needs more. So today we're breaking down all three stories, what they actually mean for Detroit, and why some Lions fans should probably start paying very close attention to what's happening inside this defense right now. And hey, if you're a real Lions fan who lives and breathes this team every single day, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Lions Nation Report is still a new channel, and we're trying to reach our first 4,000 subscribers together. So if you want daily Lions news with real passion from real fans, you're in the right place. All right, let's start with the biggest story first, because this one honestly feels like the kind of move that could completely change the ceiling of this defense. According to Vito Churko from Sports Illustrated, the Detroit Lions are still being urged to make another move at edge rusher, even after drafting Derek Moore out of Michigan in the second round. And look, I like Derek Moore. I really do. Pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson gives this defense another young physical edge player with serious upside. But if we're being honest as Lions fans, depending entirely on a rookie to help carry the pass rush in a season, this important feels risky. That's exactly why the name Jadeveon Clowney is suddenly getting attention. We're talking about a 12-year NFL veteran with 66.5 career sacks still sitting out there in free agency. And Vito Churko specifically mentioned Clowney alongside Joey Bosa and Cam Jordan as veteran options Detroit should still consider bringing in. And honestly, I get it completely. Because one thing killed this defense last season: depth. The moment injuries started piling up, the pass rush disappeared way too often outside of Hutchinson. The Lions cannot let that happen again if they're serious about competing for a Super Bowl. Churko basically said that even with Derek Moore and the addition of DJ Wonnum, he still doesn't believe the pass rushing unit is deep enough to stay productive through the entire season. And that's the key part right there. The entire season. This isn't about September football. This is about January football. And Jadeveon Clowney still showed he can help a team. Bradley Locker from Pro Football Focus pointed out that Clowney posted an 80.6 pass rush grade with 40 pressures last season with Dallas. That's still productive football, especially for a veteran rotational edge player. Locker also mentioned that Clowney has maintained at least a 14.9% pass rush win rate every season since 2023. That matters because even as he's getting older, he's still winning reps. Now there is competition for him. PFF believes the Carolina Panthers could try bringing him back, especially after already adding Jalen Phillips to their front seven. So if Detroit really wants Clowney, they may actually need to move aggressively instead of waiting around. And honestly, I think Lions fans are split on this. Some people feel like adding another veteran edge is unnecessary after drafting Derek Moore. Others look at this roster and think, why are we gambling with depth again after what happened last year? Personally, I lean toward adding the veteran. Because if there's one thing we learned, you can never have enough pass rushers in this league. Now at the same time, there's another conversation happening inside this defensive line, and this one is really interesting because it's about the interior. Christian Booher from SI.com actually believes Detroit's bigger need may not even be edge rusher. He thinks the Lions still need help at nose tackle. He mentioned that Tyleik Williams is going to play a huge role this season, but he's probably best in a rotation instead of handling everything himself. And after the departures of DJ Reader and Roy Lopez, there are legitimate questions about the depth inside. That's where another name enters the picture: TJ Slayton from Cincinnati. Booher believes Detroit should seriously look into adding him to finalize what has otherwise been a really solid offseason defensively. And this connects directly to the second story today, because while fans keep talking about free agency, the Lions may already believe they found an answer internally. That player is undrafted rookie defensive tackle Aiden Kianena. This is honestly one of the sneakiest interesting stories on the roster right now. Detroit gave Kianena $267,500 guaranteed after the draft. For an undrafted free agent, that is not random. Teams don't hand out that kind of money unless they genuinely believe the player has a real shot. And when you look at his profile, you can understand why. He's 6'3", 320 pounds, played at both Notre Dame and Cal, and built a reputation as a strong run defender. Basically the exact kind of physical interior player Detroit loves. A lot of people already see him as the closest thing this roster has to a true DJ Reader replacement. And honestly, the timing matters here. Because Brad Holmes recently praised the depth on both lines, which tells you Detroit may not be planning another major free agency move before training camp. Financially, they don't really have the flexibility right now to go get a major difference maker. That means young players and unproven players are going to get real opportunities, and Kayanena might be one of the biggest examples of that. Last year, the Lions carried 6 defensive tackles on the 53-man roster: DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams, Roy Lopez, Pat O'Connor, Mickey Wingo, and Chris Smith. While Aleem McNeil started the year on the PUP list, this year the competition looks wide open behind McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, Williams, and Jay Tufile. So if Kayanena shows up strong during OTAs and training camp, he absolutely could sneak onto this roster. And one thing I actually like about him is experience. He spent 6 years in college football, which means he's not some raw 19-year-old prospect trying to learn how to be physical. He already understands leverage, run fits, and how to survive inside against grown men. That gives him a real shot. Now the third story today might be the most emotional one for longtime Lions fans, because Malcolm Rodriguez is officially entering pressure territory, and honestly this one hurts a little. Rodriguez has always been one of those easy players to root for. Former 6th round pick, undersized guy that fought for everything. Plays hard every snap. Fans love him. But the reality is this league moves fast. Rodriguez is entering a contract year after suffering a season-ending ACL injury in 2024. Last season, he only appeared in 7 games and played far more snaps on special teams than on defense. Now he's basically fighting to prove he still belongs in this linebacker rotation. And the Lions may have already drafted somebody to push him. That player is Jimmy Rolder out of Michigan, selected with the 188th overall pick. And this kid sounds exactly like the kind of linebacker Detroit wants. He led his college team with 73 tackles last season, while also adding 7 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, 2 sacks, and an interception. But what really stands out is the style of play. Everything coming out about Rolder says he's a finisher, a guy that actually gets ball carriers on the ground. And after the Lions struggled badly with missed tackles last season, that matters a lot. The coaching staff cannot keep watching runners break tackles in the NFC North. Not against teams like the Packers, Vikings, and Bears. Kelvin Shepherd is going to demand physicality and consistency from this linebacker group. Now on paper, Malcolm Rodriguez is still ahead of Jimmy Rolder right now. Experience matters. Trust matters. Rodriguez has already proven he can play meaningful snaps in this defense. But after a major ACL injury, nothing is guaranteed anymore. And if Rolder flashes during camp, this could become a very real competition. Especially because Jack Campbell is basically the only linebacker whose starting role feels completely locked in right now. And this is what makes all 3 stories today connect together. The Lions are building this roster around competition, toughness, depth, and younger players stepping into bigger roles. But at the same time, you can still feel this front office debating whether they need one more proven veteran piece before the season starts. Do they trust Derek Moore enough? Do they trust the defensive tackle depth enough? Do they trust Malcolm Rodriguez returning from injury? Do they trust the young guys to help this defense take the next step? Those questions are going to define this season, because the expectations are completely different now. This fan base isn't just hoping to make the playoffs anymore. That phase is over. This is about chasing a Super Bowl. And after the disappointment from last season, there's pressure everywhere now. On Brad Holmes, on the coaching staff, on the veterans, and on the young players trying to earn roles. But honestly, that's what happens when people finally start taking Detroit seriously. And personally, I kinda love that this roster suddenly feels ruthless. Nobody's spot feels fully safe anymore. Not at edge rusher, not at defensive tackle, not at linebacker. And that competition might be exactly what this team needs to finally break through. But I want to know what you think. Should Detroit go sign Jadeveon Clowney? Do you think Aiden Kayanena can actually make the roster? And are you worried at all about Malcolm Rodriguez losing his role? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know Lions fans are going to have strong opinions about all three of these stories. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to Lions Nation Report. The channel is still brand new, and we're trying to reach our first 4,000 subscribers together. Appreciate every single one of you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.